Welcome back, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer, so now let's talk silver. SHTF is very real, and I think a lot of people underestimate the possibility of something like this happening, or they just put it in a stereotypical category of, oh, these people think, the world's gonna blow up and we're gonna be living in a bunker like some type of apocalyptic zombie movie. That's not necessarily the case. It could be much. See, here's the thing. We prep because we're being prepared for any situation. And any prepper, if you talk to any prepper, they're going to have silver, not gold, silver. And there's reasons for that. Well, in this video, we're going to talk about why silver is so critical in the prepping world, why you should prep, and also how much silver do you need to be comfortably, to be stable in a situation like that. Is it 1,000 ounces? Is it 500 ounces? Is it 5,000 ounces? I don't think a lot of us really, have this goal of, I'm going to try to reach 1,000 ounces before maybe I could slow down. Or what is your all-time goal? Even if it's a longer term goal, is it 10,000 ounces? I would love for you guys to think about this stuff, because that's being prepared. If you're just aimlessly buying silver and not having any type of game plan or strategy, you're much more likely to fail compared to someone who's thinking about this stuff, who's having a selling strategy, or thinking about what types of coins are best for bartering, or maybe switching your stack up and starting to buy more bullion stuff that's, even fractional silver for trading or bartering. Because if you're trying to trade a 1 ounce coin for something that's not worth 1 ounce, what are you going to do? Take a chainsaw to that coin? No. That's where fractional silver comes into play. See, there's so many different variables, and I want to make a video talking about this because I don't talk about this much, but it's a very important part of our stacking journey, and what's more than likely going to happen eventually. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next year, but the way the world's headed, there's definitely going to be a huge situation that happens where people that have precious metals will come out on top. And I could say that, I can guarantee that. I'm not saying it's going to be something like, The Walking Dead, where it's a zombie apocalypse, but there's going to be some situation happening, right? So anyways, before we jump into this, I wanted to mention I'm doing a giveaway. We're going to be, and if you want to enter, I'll be giving away an entire tube of Eagles, sealed, still, the wrapper's still on them. Never touched, still straight from the U.S. Mint. 2023 Type 2 Eagles. Also 10 ounces of semi-numismatic coins that are very expensive, like older pandas and stuff like that. So if you want to enter, just push subscribe and then go enter in the entry video. It's in the link, the description or the pinned comment. And we're also going to be going over some other stuff. We'll cover a couple of different articles since there's so much to cover on this. And ironically, right here you could see the video they posted in this article, or this site, is Andy Scheckman getting interviewed by Michelle McCory. This video has 1.4 million views on Kitco News, right? This is the main platform. This is the CNN for investors, and Andy Scheckman's on there. If you guys don't know, I'm affiliated with Andy Scheckman. He's a very good, me and him have a weekly podcast together called the Silver Stacking Podcast, and he's the CEO of Miles Franklin. It's one of the biggest precious metals dealers out there, the most respected. Andy's the guy that was able to fill a $50 million order in 2 days, over 900,000 Eagles, over 100,000 ounces in junk silver, which that's insane. I think that's more impressive than 900,000 Eagles. But also gold as well. Just send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Let him know Silver Slayer sent you. Andy would love to hear that. If you've never seen any of his stuff, I highly recommend it. He talks a lot about geopolitical stuff like the BRICS nations. And there's a reason why everyone has been wanting to talk to Andy and why he has so much credibility. He's also one of the only few dealers that still works with the U.S. Mint, which is, we'll be talking about why that could be so critical, buying coins from the U.S. government compared, if you live in the United States, compared to somewhere else. So anyways, let's jump into this. I'd love for you guys to throw your 2 cents in. Are you a prepper? Did you get into silver because of prepping, or did you get into prepping because of silver? Let me know. I would love to hear you guys, throw your thoughts out there. I know there's some prepping channels out there. Survival Living is one that I still want to interview someday. I'm sure he's watching right now, so shout out to you. I watch all your videos. Very educated on the prepping world. You guys should check his channel out as well. So, starts off to say there are a few common misconceptions associated with precious metals and how they may not be helpful to a preparedness plan for either a shtf scenario or potential economic collapse. 1, if I can't eat it, drink it, or use it to defend myself, I don't need it. That's so wrong. I get the logic, but there's more to it than that, and I'm glad that we'll be going over this. Number 2, I'll just get stuck buying some worthless coins and never get anything out of them. I could make a whole video just off this alone. And the article goes on to say, although these are some generally popular perspectives, they are completely misguided and incorrect. So how can precious metals be useful for survivalists when the economy collapses? The truth is, precious metals are essential for survivalists and will help you stay prepared for all sorts of upcoming turmoil. See, prepared, prepared. We're preparing for the worst, even if that, the category, the situation that you're preparing for might not be as dramatic or drastic as you are preparing for, but at least if that were to happen, then you are safe. Some people build multi-million-dollar underground bunkers. Will they need that? Probably not in this day and age, but if something were to happen, they have it. You know what I'm saying? So, number 1, if I can't eat it, drink it, or use it to defend myself, I don't need it. Let's see why this is so wrong. Precious metals have been used as a stable store of value and a medium of exchange for thousands of years. Although you cannot eat, drink, or use it to defend yourself, you can use it to barter or trade to get any potentially needed items. And that's why silver's been money since the beginning of time. It's the first form of money. Thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. Every fiat-based system only lasts around 100 years. Only lasts around a century. The USD is actually the longest fiat currency that's ever survived. I mean, it's designed to fail. We're trying to get ourselves out of debt by replacing it with more debt. That's like trying to pay off a credit card with another credit card. It's bound to catch up to us, and it is. We're $32 trillion in debt, and the dollar's lost 98% of its purchasing power. What's going to happen when the dollar completely collapses? We're going to go back to what is money, and gold and silver is money, and our money was actually it originated from silver and gold, silver certificates, and then they turned that into we used the physical gold and silver for a silver certificate, right? You could even see constitutional silver. This was our money. This had 10 cents worth of silver in it. This had 25 cents worth of silver in it, right? Walking Liberty half dollars had 50 cents worth of silver in it. And you can see why the transaction was valuable, because you're trading 50 cents for something of value that's 50 cents. Nowadays, giving 2 quarters to someone for a candy bar that's 50 cents isn't exchanging any value. You didn't give that guy any value because you're giving him 2 quarters that have no value. There's no precious metals inside of it that's worth anything. So you can see why we end up in a situation like this when we got rid of the gold standard and our money wasn't backed by anything. But nowadays, our paper dollars represent a dollar, but it's not. There's no dollar in it. It's a promise. It's a note saying that this is worth $1, but where's the dollar coming from? Where's that actual dollar value coming from? Nowhere. Gold and silver is the only type of real money there is, if you want to be honest. That is money. So Anyways, I'll shut up about that. I don't want to, get too far into that. I want to stick to the script. But anyways, for example, if you're trying to trade with a neighbor for ammunition and you only have water, food, and ammunition, first aid, chances are she has those exact same items also. You need to pay with something that can be used as a medium of exchange, right? Money is something that cannot be created nor destroyed. You can't create or destroy silver and gold. Your neighbor can buy whatever she may need from someone else, right? It's the only way you can ensure that you guys are making transactions and both parties can equally get what they need. If you're bartering, it's hard to tell, it can get messy, especially like they said, if someone else has that exact item, then, the chances are they're not even going to want what you have. You won't always know what people, like I was just saying, you never know what people may need in a barter or trade situation. That's why having a form of currency is essential, right? That medium reassures that you're trading and it will work every time, basically 100% of the time instead of maybe 50% of the time or 20%. Number 2, I'll just get stuck buying some worthless coins and never get anything out of them. So I say this to prospective precious metals buyers, it seems like 1,000 times a day. Stay away from collectible coins. Don't do it. Preppers are always going to stick to bullion, and it makes complete sense. And that's why this person is saying, buy bullion, stay away from collectibles. Collectible coins or numismatic coins are like art. Their value is largely subjective. Some people might pay millions of dollars for the Mona Lisa. Personally, I wouldn't pay $20 for it. Don't put yourself in a hard spot to try to get a buyer who will pay as much as you did to get some mint special coin. The liquidity just isn't there when compared to gold and silver bullion coins, bars, rounds that are traded at their melt value. Another very important part about this is, and he mentions it, is liquidity. Let's say there is a very serious situation that occurs and you need to trade or sell some of your silver right now. Well, when it comes to bullion, you could take it to your local coin shop. You can list it online, just whatever your spot price is. But if you have a semi-numismatic coin or a numismatic coin that has value on top of it, you have to find a specific buyer. You have to find that one person out there or people that like that type of coin, and it might take weeks, but you need money right now. And are you going to sell yourself short and just go lose all the money that you paid for it and just sell it at spot value? At spot price? I mean, that's why I always say beginners stack for weight. And then after a couple of years, once you have a lot of weight, then you can branch off to some of the coins you personally like, or coins that may actually increase in value, which most of them do if you find the right ones later on. But still stick to the roots. We're investing in a silver because it has so many uses as a metal. Right? I mean, I am a coin collector to some degree. I'm not going to sell a lot of my collectibles, but I'm still stacking weight. So buy bullion. Bullion is a term that's used when trying to buy precious metals close to the spot price, sometimes called spot contract price. Ask your buyer. I'm not going to go into this. So after the 2008 real estate fiasco, the economy was trashed in 2011. However, silver jumped up to $40 an ounce. It was actually $50 an ounce, even though the rest of the country and economy were still trying to pull themselves out of the grave. Precious metal, and that's a good point, right? The rest of the country and economy were trying to pull themselves out of the grave. But anyone who had silver just made a killing. And that's the exact situation that's going to happen, right? It's going to be so devastating to see your friends and family and all these people when there's a reset or when the dollar collapses and the banks fall, when we're the ones that are extremely wealthy and everyone else is suffering, right? And that's just going to be the reality of it. It is. And that's why anytime I get at someone saying that they started stacking silver because of me, I basically saved that person's life. I mean, yes, that sounds extreme. That might be a stretch, but it's not a stretch when you understand the severity of this. And that's why, I titled this video and made the thumbnail that dramatic, because it is just dramatic. People don't want to think about that. They want to live in la la land like everything's just going to be fine. But ladies and gentlemen, just watch this video, this interview with Andy Scheckman. Just watch it. Or watch any of our weekly interviews and then come back and make an educated decision, or then you can comment on what I'm saying. without just speculating, actually hear what's going on first. And I guarantee you'll probably be on the precious metals bandwagon. What you need to know for a survivalist SHTF scenario. In a barter or trade situation, it's important to remember having different sizes in metals is always smart. Having pre-65 junk silver is a great option. It is in smaller fractional sizes, and because it's 90% junk silver containing 10% copper, it will wear well being handled more frequently. Silver rounds, especially in smaller fractional silver bullion sizes, are an attractive option. And consider getting gold for some larger cost barter situations too. Fractional gold coins are small but carry large amount of value compared to silver. This is a good point. The fractional silver is so important, and I recommend going. Well, actually, nowadays I don't even know. Like what I used to recommend is so different. Like I would recommend junk silver to go fractional. Mercury dimes are around a 10th ounce, a 10th ounce round, right? Walking liberties around a half ounce. Barber quarters round a quarter of an ounce, right? But these constitutional coins or junk silver has extremely high premiums now, so I'd probably just recommend going the round route. A lot of preppers only like to buy U.S. minted stuff, government-backed stuff, because it's more legitimate, it's easier to recognize, and if you're in a bartering situation, a lot of times these people haven't heard of Volcambi mint or Sunshine mint, and they're going to think that that round is fake. But if they see a government-backed coin, it's going to make your transaction go a lot smoother. So, best silver coins for survival? Question. Should I buy 90% silver coins? I'd like something I can use if I need to buy food or other necessities when store owners won't accept dollars. A friend recommended I get a bag of these coins, but the premiums are a lot higher than some of the other choices. Answer. We too have often recommended pre-1965 coins. This is what I used to recommend. They are official government issued coinage. Anyone would be confident in their authenticity and value. That, along with their small size, makes a great option. We should still be heartily endorsing them, if only they were still low premiums. This is crazy. This is exactly what I said. We would be if the premiums weren't so crazy nowadays. Often in past times, these were the best silver coins to buy at the lowest price. The investor could buy them at or near their melt value. However, junk silver coins have become less of a bargain since silver price began falling in 2011. All of the available inventory in the market must have come from investors willing to sell existing stocks. Obviously, these coins are no longer minted. Learn more about junks. So most folks aren't willing to part with their stash as prices dip lower. There is plenty of bidding for what little does come to the market. And that's why it's so impressive that Andy Scheckman was able to find 100,000 ounces of junk silver. I mean, that is insane. That's insane. So anyways, as premiums have risen, they've been adding alternatives, and these are the 10th ounce, which is like a Mercury dime, quarter ounce is like a Barber quarter, half ounce is like a Walking Liberty $half, right? So it's equivalent generic rounds comparing it to constitutional silver. So let's keep moving on. With our government racking up a national debt of 19 trillion, now it's 32 trillion, right? This article was written 2018. 2018, and it's already doubled in 4 years. 5 years, 4 or 5 years, it's doubled. That is insane. That is very scary. That is scary. It's almost doubled. That's insane in 4 years compared to the entire lifetime of our fiat system. It's time to start preparing for our currency to be obsolete in SHTF scenarios. Remember, you won't always know what people may need in a barter or trade situation. That's why having a form of currency is essential. There are a variety of reasons why individuals choose to purchase and invest in silver coins. They do so to protect against a declining currency, a hedge against inflation, and to diversify their investment portfolio. But at the end of the day, many of our customers are just looking to protect themselves and their family when stuff hits the fan. And I like this because, it shows the variety. So, and I want to ask you guys this question. Why did you start investing in the silver? Was it because your friend told you so? Was it because maybe you just caught wind of a YouTube video and fell down the rabbit hole of silver stacking? That's kind of how I did. I mean, mine's a little longer because I used to as a kid. Like every Christmas I would get like an old Walking Liberty or something from my grandpa, and I saw this treasure. And then when I was like, I guess 8 years ago, that's how long I've been making videos. And so about 7-8 years ago, I started actually researching more about silver, and I fell down the silver stacking rabbit hole, the community on YouTube, and the rest is history. But how did you start? I'm curious. If this is the reason you're investing in silver coins, you're in good company, as many of us customers are investing specifically for this reason. So, one dealer has 46,000 products and doesn't account for all the types of items available in the marketplace. There is a lot of options. There's a lot of options, and a lot of people get overwhelmed. And I try to say, stick with the basics. And sometimes a lot of us that have been stacking for years have to get back to the basics. It's so easy to get sidetracked and start buying some very expensive coins and slabbed coins and proof coins. And all of a sudden, we're like, wait, this isn't why I started stacking. I got it. And that's what happened to me. I started buying the craziest coins. I have so many crazy coins. And it's like, that's not why I started. I don't regret it. As long as you buy what you like, you'll never make a bad purchase because at least you like the coin. But I need to start adding more weight, So, unfortunately, there are a multitude of potential worst-case scenarios to protect against. That is, it's so unfortunate that we have to, protect for these reasons. EMP area bursts at 30, 120, and 300 miles. This is obviously United States. Burst altitude, and this is right in the middle. So, 480 miles, it'd reach about, it's like Pennsylvania, Ohio-ish. 1,000 miles is top of Florida. And they're only going this direction, but you could see this would affect the entire United States. A million square miles. Intensity depends on weapon design, height of burst, location of burst, broad frequency range, threat to all electronics. And this is definitely possible. They already have stuff that can do this. We've listed a few above, but the other risks include an EMP attack, a collapse of our banking system. We're already starting to see fractures, seizing of our credit markets, the loss of our world reserve currency status. It's already in the works, and now it's definitely in the works. 5 years later, and this video explains it very well, actually, right here. And the rollout and adoption of central bank digital currency, just to name a few. So they say the 5 best are Mercury silver dimes, Standing Liberty and Washington silver quarters. I like barber quarters better personally, but I mean these are more rare, I guess. But Franklin silver $half. I personally like Walking Liberties more. Barber $half. These are pretty cool as well. I like Barber halves and Walking Liberty halves personally. Morgan silver dollars, very tricky market. I wouldn't recommend these because you have to understand each year is so different. And if you don't know the different mints, Morgan stopped being produced in 1921, and that's why in 2021 they brought it back as the 100-year anniversary. And that's, I bought one. I have the 2021 MS-70 Morgan, and the U.S. Mint actually canceled them next 2022, so I have a very rare coin in perfect condition, MS-70, highest grade you can get. But regardless, you have to know, the Carson City Mint is one of the, that's the mint that's going to be a lot more expensive than the Philadelphia Mint, which is the most common from Morgans. And you have to know each year. Some years, a lot of them were minted. Some years, none of them were. Or not none, but, there were very low mintage numbers, which are going to be more expensive. But you can see how if you buy a common 1921 from the Philadelphia Mint, that coin isn't really that expensive, but someone on eBay could list it as if it's like an 1887 Carson City and it's hundreds of dollars, so you can get ripped off. So until you understand the markets of these coins, you got to be careful. So though that's their top 5. They also mentioned the American Eagle, and I recommend that as well. And so does Andy Scheckman. See, last but not least, American Eagle is the most popular. In times of crisis, more people turn to American Eagles than any other coin. Large number of coins produced over the years means these coins are widely recognized and accepted. That's a good point. You can take an American Eagle anywhere in the world, and they will recognize that coin as value. They may not understand why it has value, the 1 ounce of silver inside of it, but they know that coin is money and its value. You can't do that with any other coin in the world. You can't do that with a panda. You can't do that with a Philharmonic. You can't do that with a kookaburra. You can't do that with a maple. You can only do that with an American Eagle. People that don't even stack silver look at American Eagles and say, "Oh, you." But if they see some type of panda or some Kruger, they don't know what that is. They don't know that's valuable or why it is. So that's another good point. And liquidity is key. And by the way, I highly recommend checking out that article this interview from Andy Scheckman. So this one's interesting. How much silver should a prepper have? Have you guys ever thought about how many ounces you should have? Financial wizards recommend having 6 months of expenses, rent, mortgage, food, and other bills in accessible funds. Others recommend having 30 days of cash on hand and instantly accessible. How much silver should you store? Your money, as is your time, is precious and deserves to be spent wisely. When determining the answer that best fits your need, look at your available cash as well as your other prepping requirements for a balanced answer. And folks, listen to me. Your bank can easily pause or just cancel your account and you have no access to your money. So if you don't have stash tucked away directly in your possession, you could be screwed. That happened to Kanye West. They froze all of his bank accounts. This happened to other people as well. And a lot of people try to use precious metals for put their silver in safety deposit boxes at a bank. Well, what if that bank is closed? And what if a shtf crisis does happen and the banks are closed? You have to be, if you can't hold it, you don't own it. If you can't hold it in your bare hands, right then, you don't own it. Someone else does, and it's just belonging to you, but who does it really belong to? Talk about legal tender. Obviously, I'm sure most of you guys know what that is. Private mints are where rounds, like Sunshine Mint. A lot of these look like coins, but they're round. Like this is a Walking Liberty 1 ounce silver round. That looks like an American Eagle, but it's not, right? That's an actual American Eagle right here. That's a round. Well, this right here on the screen is, because they switched screens. But, that first one that I showed you, that was a round, even though that's not a real Morgan silver dollar. Or wait, this one actually is, sorry. But a lot of Morgans, fake Morgans, they're not fake silver. They're just a round that looks like a Morgan. Talk about junk silver, numismatics. How many ounces of silver should you own? That's the $1 million question. There's always a place for a little silver in your savings. Start small, set aside a little money each month. Work your way up. I want to see if they actually... Doesn't recommend going over 10% of your total assets. I can beg to differ. But I've done the math before, actually, and to each his own. I mean, if you're someone who's already retired, that has, retirements or has a lot of money, your goal is going to be a lot different than someone who's maybe in college or maybe a teenager starting stacking, right? I mean, $50,000 may seem like a lot to a 19-year-old, but for someone who's retired, that's pennies. So you see how your goal of maybe 10,000 ounces or 1,000 ounces is a lot different than someone who works a minimum wage job, where maybe even 50 ounces is a huge goal, or 100 ounces. So you can see why you can't really compare yourself to other people. You don't know their financial situation. You don't know you don't know how old they are. You don't know how long they've been stacking. You don't know when they plan on selling. There's so many different variables. You don't know what type of silver they already have. So yeah. Anyways, I thought this was a pretty cool video. I love talking about this type of stuff. You know, it's cool to switch up stuff on my channel and get talk about other types of circumstances beyond just the typical silver shortage or the supply deficit or supply and demand fundamentals, where the silver's priced today and what's happening in the economy, to get to some of these other topics as well. So if you like these types of videos, then please like the video, leave a comment down below what you think about this stuff. Yeah, make sure you enter my giveaway if you want to purchase some silver. I recommend Miles Franklin. As you guys saw, Andy Scheckman. Watch this interview, by the way, as well. Andy does such a good job. He said this is one of his hardest interviews. Michelle McCory, she pushed him on a lot of questions, and he had to really break it down. So, this video has 1.4 million views for a reason. It's very, very educational, and buying from Andy is like buying from your friend. Building a business relationship with this guy can be extremely beneficial instead of buying from some company you don't know who's behind that screen filling your order, taking your information down. With Andy, it's nice because if there was a problem to occur, I have his phone number. I was actually texting him 2 minutes before I recorded this video. I can call him on my phone right now and say, hey, this person just emailed me and said their order is messed up or something along, and you're in direct contact with one of the biggest precious metals companies in the world that still has a direct, a direct connection with the U.S. Mint, since the U.S. Mint banned everyone from buying from them. See how beneficial that could be, especially moving forwards? See how beneficial that could be? I'm honored to be able to offer you guys that. So take advantage of it. Send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Let them know Silver Slayer sent you, too. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I post daily videos. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.